So Flyers are doing everything that people want. They are putting together the two powerhouses, the two superstars that we want, or are dreaming of superstars. Matvei Michkov and Trevor Zegras are playing together. We saw one preseason game against the New York Islanders. They played together with Nikita Grubenkin, but is it a long-term solution? And who is playing on that other side? Again, long-term solution. I'm joined by Ryan Gilbert of BroadStreetHockey.com. I'm Thomas Williams of BroadStreetHockey.com to talk through this magical pairing. Gilbert, how are you tonight with this magical pairing?
I'm doing fantastic. I thought you were talking about us when you said they're putting two powerhouses together to talk about two powerhouses here. So yeah, it's been good here to get back into the swing of things. Caring about the Flyers losing a preseason game, and looking at different line combinations. We've had all summer, be like, oh, will they try Zegras and Michkov together? Well, on the power play, yes, but 5-on-5, maybe not. But no, it looks like Rick Tockett's going to give the two guys with the bag of tricks there, put them on the ice together and see what they can do.
I know it's exciting because like you see all the clips after practice and like they're working together after everyone's gone and like doing little tip drills or whatever, and it's like playing around, and Michkov is playing goalie and all this stuff. Like it's just it's super fun. So I think it ultimately just becomes this like innate thing to always watch out for. Like they could just pull off anything at any time. Like Zegras never had that. Michkov never had that with like the responsible Couturier and Zegras playing with like Troy Terry or someone like in Anaheim. It's just like they didn't have a matching like pairing that gets them almost. Like there's like, you never understand me. No one understands me.
They've been looking for that missing puzzle piece, and they just have not been able to find it. And now they're like, let's practice Michigan's together. Let's do alley-oop passes. Let's each pretend to play goalie after practice. We're having the time of our lives.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, exactly. So like I think it just on the ice though, like, so yeah, like they could get along together and everything, and it all works out. But like on the ice, how do you see it working within like at a game on 5-on-5 especially?
Yeah, that's the thing, because like it's fun. It is fun to think about Michkov and Zegras out there together and knowing you have that in your back pocket to break out like if you need offense. But I don't know if it makes sense for the Flyers as a whole. I think that's the big question is, all right, is that too top heavy with talent? And will you then need somebody who has no offensive talent and like is basically a third defenseman playing with them to cover for them? So there's a lot of different combinations that can happen. I am willing to try it. I figured we'd see Zegras with Michkov together at some point during the season. And, I guess why not just go right out of the gate with it?
No, exactly. Like it just, I think it's this like trickle down effect almost, where it's just like you put those two together, but then the rest of the lineup doesn't have that. The rest of the lineup is like Couturier connecting. That's fine. Like that's fun. And Talk has been talking about these duos. So if it's Zegras and Michkov and then you get Couturier connecting, and then you get like Cates and Brink potentially, like you get these kind of matchups. But then it's just like you get one lineup that's super. Again, you were saying like hyper offensive skill, everything like that, and then the rest of the lineup kind of just settles into this like gray area of like they can get there, but are they willing to then like then you're missing out on potentially like Zegras and connecting, and then you get Michkov with Couturier and bringing those and like rising those two players into different levels and like potentially playing off of them.
Yeah, if you have Zegras and Michkov together, like that's a pretty top-heavy offensive team. Maybe, Tippett takes that step forward that we're looking for. If it's, Tippett, Couturier, Konechny, we've seen that line before. We've seen the Forster, Cates, and Brink line. But yeah, it almost turns into like, okay, you have that bottom 6, bottom 9 there, but if Zegras and Michkov aren't going, like you're not going to have much offense going whatsoever. But on the flip side of that, I do kind of like it because I don't know if they will get the toughest matchups, or they would save the toughest matchups for Couturier, Konechny, and say Tippett.
Yeah, they probably would, because obviously Couturier is there, and I feel like Tocchet. I feel like Couturier is gonna have.
I'm saying on the road, like at home, you're putting Couturier or Cates up against the top line, but like on the road, like is a team with a great defensive pair going to play him against Couturier, Konechny, or Zegras and Michkov?
Probably Zegras, Michkov, I would say. Like if
And
they have,
that opens up Konechny and Tippett on the second line. Like,
yeah, and then you get into the mix of like, are Couture and Konechny? I think the answer is yes, but are they good enough to then take advantage of them having them being against a lesser, like not the top pairing? You're not facing Hedman, you're facing Ryan McDonough or whoever. Like instead, like it's the question that's we can't answer until we watch the games. But like it's yeah, I think it's just like it's either if you're going balance and then hoping on like the skill being brought out in players that are with them, and potentially like Couture having like a even more of a rejuvenation than we saw last year, or are we going, okay, let's just like put out all the fun, they play however long, like 12 minutes, 5-on-5, and like hopefully a lot on the power play. And then in those minutes, try to tread lightly with like, okay, you're getting tough competition about, you're getting your Anthony Cirellis. I'm just using Lightning players apparently, but you're getting your Anthony Cirellis as your matchup, and your Hedman, and then you're getting your I was just gonna say Barkov, but rest in peace. This like you're getting your top defensive guys that are playing, can suffocate you. And then it's just like, if some nights Zegras and Michkov just won't work together at all because of that. And then you're banking on Couture and Konechny leading the way with the rest of those minutes, right?
yeah, and those are all great points there. But while you were talking about that, I'm thinking like, what do the Flyers want this season? Like, they
Right.
don't necessarily want to be a playoff team. I think they're a team that wants to come out of the gate, see if they can hang with the big dogs, see if, if Zegras and Michkov works, that's going to be fantastic. If it doesn't, you're going to start off slow. You're going to start off, maybe going towards that middling path again, and you're like, all right, then you go to a sell and try to, tank a little bit maybe. But if we're talking about trying to win games, like, yeah, Michkov and Zegras are a great combination, but then you just have pretty much three defensive lines after that. If Tippett and Konechny are the same thing that they were last year, like those are huge key pieces, like Couturier, especially Tippett as well. And like, I think those are two guys who you would not consider playing. Well, Couturier definitely not, but like, I feel like Tippett and even Konechny, I don't know if you'd put up there with Zegras and Michkov.
Yeah, like I think overall production, like I would put Konechny up there. Like especially we don't need to know if Zegras can even hit the point totals that he's had before.
Yeah.
Like if he hits 70, that's well above expectations, honestly. But like I think it's something that is going to be treated differently, and it's just like going to be, it's almost like you have to bank on, again, I'm repeating myself, but like just the other players stepping up and like making sure that Tippett and Forrester and whoever else is playing with them, and if there's a rookies coming up like Bump and Grabenkin later, that could provide more scoring depth than we had, and it's not Hathaway, Deloria, Abels. You're not playing that on your fourth line, like with zero offense
Yeah.
at all, except like Hathaway will score his one really sick goal of a season. Um, you're having more offensive dependence on the rest of the lineup, and especially if they get suffocated. So I think it's more about seeing what, like, I could see Tocchet going with that line dependent on the team totally. Like if you're playing Chicago, yeah, put Zegras and Michkov because they'll eat them alive. Like if you're playing Tampa, if you're playing Florida, even now
Well,
without
you're
Barkov.
playing Florida 2 out of 3 games out of the
Yeah,
gate. So, like,
yeah,
your opening night lineup needs to be for those big teams, even without, Barkov and Tkachuk.
yeah.
And
No, exactly.
I'm pretty sure their October schedule is pretty tough as well.
Oh god, yeah. Like I think they play the Hurricanes a lot, Devils, like Caps, I think, or something like that. Like they might, I don't know. We don't have the schedule from, but
Yeah, they got the Hurricanes, they got the Jets, they got
yeah, that's rough.
the Senators there, Panthers. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
It's like 75% of the games in October against playoff teams or something like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's something that I think is gonna be interesting if they start the season off with Zegras and Michkov together, because then it's really telling us what the potential mindset of Tocchet is going into the season. And you were talking about it, like I don't know if they want to make the playoffs, but I think that what they want is to go into each game believing that they can win no
Mhm.
matter what. And last year they could say they did that, but I wouldn't say that after the deadline they did any of that. I think it was the opposite, but I think they just want to go into each game and just say, we can win this tonight because of this reason and this reason. And if this goes our way, and if Zegras is able to pull something out, if Michkov is able to do this on the power play, then then we could do that. And I think it all depends on really who is playing on that other side, really.
That's the big thing, and the thing I wanted to get into here
There you
is
go.
like,
That's a segue.
are we just penciling in Dvorak? That is who Rick
Mhm.
Tocchet mentioned in practice. I think on after practice on Wednesday, he said, I'm not saying I'm going to put somebody different, but sometimes when you play with two highly skilled guys like that, you have to have that responsible guy. It might work, and I think Dvorak is that guy that can win battles in the corners and get the puck to a guy like Zegras or Michkov. And of course, we know Dvorak started his career with Tocchet. Very much a fan of him. Probably signed here because Tocchet was the head coach. And the excitement of having Zegras and Michkov together is kind of dampened by, it's like, okay, they're with Christian Dvorak, because it's basically like, okay,
Dad's here.
there was Scott Lawton up there on the
Yeah.
top line. That's pretty much what Christian Dvorak is this season.
Yeah. Like, I think it's basically just going to act as like a buffer potentially, but I think it's an interesting like thing because he's not like a terrible player. It's very like you said, Scott Lawn's a good example. Like I'm reading his numbers here. His career high is 38 points, 18 goals and 20 assists.
Mhm.
I think that was a Talking Coach team. So with Arizona, so I think um, it's not terrible. 18 goals is nothing to sniff at. He's probably going to be scoring at least double-digit goals this season, especially
Left
like
left-handed center, can play wing if he has
yeah.
to, can pitch in on power play too, can kill penalties. Am I describing Scott Laughton or Christian Dvorak? They're career
Yeah.
high around 40 points, like
Played in the
might
OHL,
score 15 goals.
played on good
Uh,
OHL teams,
good OHL
top
teams.
top center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was Dvorak a first round pick?
Yeah, he
I don't.
was.
Yeah, first
No,
round pick.
second round,
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
second
So
round.
got
Sorry.
the difference there. But yeah, that's what it is. And I like Dvorak. I think he has a little bit more swagger than Scott Laughton did, with all due respect to Scotty there. But like, I just want to see someone more exciting. And I wrote the article
Mhm.
on browsertalkie.com on Friday. Go read and subscribe there. And the guy I like is Tyson Forster. Is that who you would put there? And is that who you think has the second best chance?
Yeah, I think that would be my preferred option just because there's that extra potential like bump. That's bad to say. There's a potential extra like level to his game than Dvorak, and we're hoping that Forrester is able to elevate and score like 30, 35 eventually. So why not put him with the skill players right now and see if that works? Because he's been lumped in with these defense first centers because that's all the Flyers have basically had. But he's been lumped in with like this role and responsibility. So it'd be really interesting if like to see it's basically also a tryout to see if Forrester is the defensive two-way winger that we believe he is, or is it just because he's having these positive impacts and able to do these things because he has more space on the ice because he's been playing with Cates or Couturier or whatever. So it's going to be, I think, ultimately a huge test for Forrester if he's with Zegras and Michkov as like I'm the responsible one, I'm along the boards and doing the work, and not saying that Zegras and Michkov won't do that, but it's just who will do it more, and it's obviously Forrester of that trio. But I think it's going to be more of a tryout to see like can you really drive this line by yourself throughout all three zones, and can you work with these players that are obviously just their eyes towards the net and that's all they care, like not all they care about. Michkov is very competitive in all three zones too, but it's a different dynamic for sure than Dvorak. Um, but I think there's just more of that like excitement that you could see and more of that like I imagine these players playing for the next 5 years together,
Yeah.
and it's just being cemented that this is a line together and it's their first or second line and that's it, and you just have to like okay, that's put in stone, and then you have Couturier, Konechny, Tippett, whatever, and that's a pretty solid top six, and that will be it until more Porter Martone comes in several months hopefully, and then Tippett gets the hell out of here. But like it's just like something that you just dream on of happening for the Flyers, of just like having three players play extremely well together and not like this duo of G and Jake, and then it's like whoever plays next to them is going to be getting points or whatever. It's something that you just want to see. So I think Forster has the highest potential of becoming that, and that's why I think we both prefer him there.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some of that. I don't know if I could have said that better myself. That is the line you want to see years down the road. A left wing, a center, and a right wing. They're not playing there out of position. They're all where they want to be, and they all fit together. Zegras is playmaker, can score a little bit. Michkov, same thing, and Forster wins the battles, two-way player,
and they could all shoot
has a
too.
great shot. Yeah, they
like
could
literally
all
of them
can
can score 20 goals easy. Of course, Michkov has 40, 50 potential, and but it's just different.
And last year, Tyson Forster had 43 points, 33 points the year before. That's already more than Christian Dvorak's had in a season in his career. More since he hasn't had 38 since 2020. But
he's an OHL first rounder, so he's basically Scott Laughton. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. But I think the question is, we were talking about it before, a little bit before we came on here, is like, how much is the face-off going to matter? Because Trevor Zegras, everyone knows he's awful at face-offs. 40% can't win a face-off. But do face-offs matter that much? And should we be that worried? Because you could have Forster on the wing, have Dvorak come out, take the face-off, or Couturier come out and take the face-off, and then get off the ice as soon as possible for Forster or whoever else.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's something that coaches care more about than fans or the players. I'm sure players care, but I think in the end, it's something that has just been so ingrained of face-offs equal extended periods of possession, and especially that Rick Tocchet has said specifically that this team needs to cycle the puck. This team needs to hold possession in the offensive zone. So it's something that I could see the reasoning why they put Dvorak with Zegras and Michkov of, well, if we deploy them in the offensive zone like we're doing a bunch of times because we want to give them favorable deployment because they're Zegras and Michkov, we need to win the faceoff. So why not have Dvorak out there, who is a career 53.1% in the faceoff dot? It's someone that is reliable to be above 50%, which is pretty damn good. If you're, I think Patrice Bergeron is one of the only players, the best faceoff man in the world, and he was 59 career or 60 or something like that. That's the percentage points we're talking about. So it's obviously better, but then it's also how much is that give and take of it's a mental exercise that you can't really think about, and I don't think you can even quantify into numbers, but it's okay, if you take Dvorak out and put Forster, how much better is that line? In scoring wise, it's a lot better. Skill wise, it's a lot better. But if they're not able to get the puck, and if they're not able to keep cycle and keep possession in the offensive zone, how much is that? So it's if you say Zegras is 42%, let's say he increases, just be a little bit positive and say he's 42%. So it's 11 points lower than Dvorak's average. But then, so say you win 11 more faceoffs out of 100, whatever that is. I think someone only makes, let me see this. You take 1,000-ish faceoffs, typically if you're playing whatever in the top 6 or whatever. So they're winning 100 more faceoffs throughout the season. I'm doing
over 82 games. That's less than 2 faceoffs per game.
Yeah, so it's just that much more faceoffs, but then you're also losing your potential on scoring goals when you have the puck, because you have Dvorak.
And talking about the faceoff difference, we have to stress that losing a faceoff isn't always a bad thing. If the winger is Forster and Zegras is the center, Forster's all right, he's going to lose this. Let me get ready to win this puck battle on the wall, and he can do that. It's faceoffs are keyed in on in important points. You need to be able to win a faceoff late in games, on the power play, on the penalty kill. But I think worrying about something like this to have such a downgrade at the wing just isn't worth it, especially when you can just put him out there for the draw and then change. It's not like a set lineup, like a batting order. You can make changes in game.
But yeah, and even to worry about it at 5-on-5 before a season starts, and to make a whole line about it, I don't think it's important. Excuse me, Jesus Christ. I don't think it's important. I don't think it's important enough to put so much priority and so much focus on it that it's like, are you good at scoring goals? Now I'm like demonstrating with my pen. Are you good at scoring goals? That's the main goal of a forward line. Can you score a goal? I think Forrester makes you much more likely to score a goal than Dvorak. Plain and simple. Like I think the difference between Forrester and Dvorak makes just being able to provide offense and even defense, like they're pretty equal in their career so far. That difference is bigger than the difference between Zegras and Dvorak taking a face-off. Who's taking a face-off? I think the difference between skill and ability to just win hockey games make it between Forrester and Dvorak, and I'm just repeating myself, is so much greater. It's such a downgrade than the upgrade you get when Dvorak takes a face-off instead of Trevor Zegras.
Yes, and just to add to that, one more little statistic here.
There you go.
Almost 60% of shifts are started on the fly, like on the fly, not a face-off. And Tocchet can maybe even work it so it's a higher percentage for that line, so they're not worried about that. Obviously, you have to worry about it like after a face-off, but if these guys are stuck in the defensive zone, they might be screwed anyway.
Hey, Zegras just talked about Couture's X Factor this whole time, so maybe he's learned something. Maybe he's absorbed his X Factor. But yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I think Dvorak gets it out of the gate. Forster's injury is a good excuse to keep him down the lineup, but once they've had a bad record in October playing against better teams, maybe you see it change. I think.
Yeah. I think you get that out of the gate, but then see what happens from there for sure.
Yeah. You think if you think Konechny has a chance of going there, or they're not going to put him on the left side?
I think the left side is hard, but then also like, what's your rest of the lineup look like? Is like Forrester and Tippett with Couturier? Like that's not I don't know if that's a real lovable situation.
Does Bump make the roster then, and Dvorak's your 4C?
Yeah, maybe. Like I don't know. It's so interesting. Like I even thought the thought popped in my head. Like, would it be so bad even if like you get Couturier, Zegras, Michkov?
I was thinking
like that's a whole thing of like Couturier is great at faceoffs, but then I think he's offensively way better than Dvorak. Like,
but they want both of those players at center. Zegras needs to play center. Zegras needs to have enough responsibility there. I mean, down the road, Bump could be fun with them too. A Forster type, but that's going to take him getting a few weeks, if not months, of pro experience. Gulbenkian could be eventually as well. If they want to shake things up, he did it in their first preseason game there. So there's a lot of options, and Christian Dvorak, I think, is probably one of my least favorite options.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too exciting, but we probably don't have to live with it for very long. I think that's the optimism.
Yeah, we can enjoy the losses early on, knowing we'll get the line blender going.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's a good. I think that was a good talk about the lines and potential with Zegras and Michkov, because it's going to be really interesting for overall to just see how they play together at 5-on-5 in like actual games.
Yeah, we've seen it on the ice. We've seen it in preseason. We've seen the posts on social media, but getting them 5-on-5, hopefully in an opening night, would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely. So read broadsheethockey.com, subscribe, like the video. If you're watching right now, do all this. I'm sorry, I'm with my hands. But yeah, like and subscribe. Why not? It's free. And we're going to be with you all season long throughout this wonderful Flyer season, where we hopefully find some answers to certain questions. BSH forever.